All right, to start off today, let's recap Stuttgart that happened over the weekend. Before we jump into the deck lists, I would like to take a look at the metagame, just seeing how everything broke down. We're going to turn the Parry variants on here to take a look at everything. So Golden Go, 17% of the day one metagame. Gardevoir was 13%. This is Gardevoir and Gardevoir Jelly comboed in there together. Pult, of course, still up here at 12%. And Zard, I feel like Zard had like a pretty big jump in popularity after Jackson won with it. Like, it wasn't that popular at Milwaukee, I want to say, but then it jumped up quite a bit, and then it's kind of came down quite a bit as it didn't see as much success following that, but we see it jumping back up in popularity heading into this event, which I think it makes sense. Pult still is kind of an iffy play in the current format. It's like fine, but like you don't expect to have to beat Dragapult to have to win tournaments right now, for sure. On your way there, you'll probably run into one or two, but I mean, if you lose to those, but you beat everything else, you're feeling good as Charizard. Obviously, Gardevoir and Golden Go, both favorable matchups for Charizard. So, and those are the top two decks in the metagame right now. And then from there, it actually drops off like pretty heavily, right? We had 10% Charizard. This is Charizard with Dragapult, or with Dusknoir and without Dusknoir as well. From there, we drop off pretty heavily, though. Mega Absol seems to have stabilized at like a 5% metagame deck. And this is the first tournament in the Phantasmal Flames format, so there's new cards obviously going on here, and there's some question marks of like how good potentially some of these decks are, right? Like Guardy got a big, like Guardy's obviously still good, Golden Go is still good. Guardy got a big upgrade in the Diancie. Charizard builds got Dawn. Mega Absol kind of didn't get anything, and it definitely doesn't like Mega Diancie for sure. So maybe that is enough to push Mega Absol out of the metagame, because previously your Gardevoir matchup was, they didn't play like a lot of stuff like Drifloon 1 KO potential. It felt favored for Absol. It was like full-on Jelly. But then if it was more one-hit KO based, it felt a little tougher. Felt like it was Guardy favored. But now every Gardevoir is going to be playing Mega Diancie probably. So I don't know. Things might be tough for Mega Absol moving forward. We'll have to see. Also, a lot of the Golden Goes, like every Golden Go deck is like playing a tech card currently that beats Cornerstone. So you've got stuff like the Mega Mawile still, the Lopunny, the Lucario. Like you have options as Golden Go. It feels like most Golden Go lists, if not all Golden Go lists, are playing some kind of tech card to beat Golden Go. Or excuse me, to beat Cornerstone. So Cornerstone can't really be your answer as Mega Absol. You can still play it, but then you need something else to go with that as well. And similarly, Charizard decks now have more options to beat your Cornerstone. And if they beat your Cornerstone, they kind of just beat you. But if you're playing like the Terra build that we saw take down the whole tournament, you have Terrapagos to get through Cornerstone. If you're playing non-Terra builds, you can play Lopunny, you can play Gouging Fire. So not having that kind of win rate increase for Mega Absol. I feel like Mega Absol might go away for a little while, to be honest, until maybe the format becomes less teched for Cornerstone. But yeah, Mega Absol, like thinking about it, doesn't feel too great right now. But it was 5% metagame at the tournament. And then from there, I mean, you had your Grimmsnarl, Ceruledge, Zoroark. Alakazam was 3% of the metagame. Alakazam was more popular than Raging Bolt? Dude. That is so funny. Because Alakazam's pretty mid, but goodness, man. How the mediocre have become more mediocre. Raging Bolt here, less than 3% of the metagame. Less than Alakazam. I mean, Alakazam being 3% to begin with is honestly kind of crazy. But the deck did get some big buffs from Phantasmal Flames. Got the Dawn, got the Battle Cage, stuff like that. So the deck got quite a bit improved. We got the Mega Lopunny deck here, almost at 3% of the metagame. And this is like Mega Lopunny, excuse me, with Dusknoir. Almost 3%. Terra Box also has fallen down a little bit as well. I mean, Terra decks in general, these kind of feel like almost the same deck sometimes, like Flareon and Terra Box. Like when one is good, they're both good. And when they're bad, they're both bad. And they're both not great right now, for sure. Not too much else to look at here. Mega Sharpedo there at 1%. Mega Venusaur less than 1%. Mega Kangaskhan. So this is like the tank builds with like the Bouffalants and the Ice Creams, or maybe like the stall builds that I've seen. Something crazy there. Don't need to look at the day 2%, but we'll take a look at the conversion right here. Golden Go. Actually, we can take a look at the top converters here. Golden Go was one of them. We don't really care about these two because there were so few, such a small sample size. But yeah, Golden Go was of the most popular decks. Actually, Golden Go was the most popular deck and had the highest conversion rate. What the heck? You usually don't see that. That usually does not happen. Usually the most popular deck never has the highest conversion rate. But this time around, it is Golden Go. Especially with decks like... that's not even 100% true. But yeah, usually we don't see that, right? But Golden Go does that. 24% conversion rate. Pretty high. Most popular deck. Tank Kangaskhan was actually second most. But I mean, small sample size. Only 35 people played it. But still, 22% there. Guardy also had 22. Dragon Ball basically had 22. So all the big decks converted pretty well. Golden Go, a little bit better though. Low Pony Dusknoir also had a decent conversion rate. And then it starts to get down to like, I think like 16, 17 is like usually the average, I want to say. Yeah, 16, 17 might be the average, but obviously the better decks convert better than the average decks. So, got the Mega Absols, the Radiant Bolts, Cynthia's Garchomp, of course. Even Alakazam did okay with 16%. I wonder, what are the stinkers for conversion rate here? And Zoroark, ooh, a 2.56 conversion rate, just 2 of 78 people converting. Is there any other stinkers down here? I mean, these ones aren't popular enough to really care about. Hydrapple, 0 conversions from the 10 players. Mega Lucario, also a 0. But Zoroark is like the ultimate stinker here. Even Flareon did okay at like 9 for only 40. That's still pretty bad. Terrorledge also didn't do great, 13%. With 98 players playing it, only 13%. Same thing with Marnie's Grimmsnarl. 100 players playing it, only a 13% conversion rate, below average there. Yeah, rough time. Dude, poor Zoroark. That's bad, bro. That's like really bad. That's like a really bad conversion rate for Zoroark. Maybe the deck is just bad. I still want to believe. And the thing with Zoroark as well is there's just so much depth to the deck's potential. Got to give time for players to maybe figure it out. We have a whole month and a half for people to figure out Zoroark for Toronto as well. So we'll see if anyone can come up with anything by the time Toronto comes around. Because we got Champions League coming up this weekend, and then there's a month and a half of no majors. And Champions League is in the next format as well. So there's not too much to take away from that going into the January majors. All right, well, that's the metagame, the conversion rate. Let's take a look at the deck list, though. Over here. Open all. Starting off with Nikolai's Charizard, Noctowl. Full credit for the list, I believe, does go over to Oscar Madsen. Oscar, I definitely, I've been saying this for a little while. I think Oscar is like one of the top deck, like, he's one of the ones who's like trying to push innovation in like decks in unique ways at like a higher rate. He plays around with a lot of different decks, comes up with a lot of unique takes on builds as well. So if you guys are looking for some cool, fun new decks to play, always definitely go follow Oscar on Twitter, because he's always tweeting out lists and ideas and stuff like that. I believe full credit for this list does go to Oscar, but Nikolai did take down the dub with Charizard. But it's not just Charizard, it's Charizard Noctowl, a deck that it's not the first time we've seen it. It is definitely not the first time we've seen it. We've seen it pop up quite a bit since Noctowl has been a thing. People have played it with Water Pawn, without Water Pawn. This build is no Water Pawn in here, just Charizard. The only other attacker really in the deck is the Terapagos. Usually you play the Water Pawning here as like a basic enabler for Noctowls, of course. Oscar what? Oscar Madsen. M-A-D-S-E-N, I believe. Yeah, not Madsen. So Terapagos is how you enable your Noctowls more consistently. Doesn't play the Water Pawn like I mentioned. You could still try and fit Water Pawn in here. But it's going the Dusknoir Briar route instead. And Pidgeot. You don't always see Pidgeot in the deck as well. But 202 Pidgeot here. Thick on the Pidgeot line here in this build. And then the big new addition to the deck for sure that you gained from Phantasmal Flames is Dawn. And we see 4 Dawn in this deck. So heavily utilizing Dawn as like the main card for the engine here, not only to utilize to find your basics and evolutions on turn 1, but turn 2 using Noctowl's Jewel Seeker to find a Dawn, which then can find your another follow-up Noctowl, or you could find your Dusclops or your Charmeleon, plus you get your stage 2s in plays like the Pidgeot and the Charizard, stuff like that. So that is really I feel like maybe the key piece that was missing from Charizard Terra previously, and maybe why we hadn't seen as much success from it. I always felt like the deck was pretty underwhelming. But Dawn might be like the piece that really like gave it enough consistency to actually like really consistently... What am I trying to say? It's a consistency difference. Like, the deck was already potentially very powerful, but it wasn't very consistent. Dawn might be the difference maker here, for sure. But, no, that's it. I think that's all I had to say. Clef in here with the Jet Energy to get around Psyduck, of course. And I mentioned it is a Briar build. But yeah, not that much in the supporter line either. Just Dawns, couple Iona for the comeback potential. And then, of course, you have Boss's Orders because it's a good card. Terra Orb or 1 Ultra Ball, maybe? There is 4-1 Ultra Ball. Well, I think you want the consistency of Dawn helps you brick less. Yeah, Dawn helps you brick less. I think you want the Ultra Ball because you want to be able to like find anything through your Noctowl. You don't want to be limited to a Terra Orb. Terra Orb literally only finds Charizard or Terrapagos, but being able to go Noctowl for Ultra Ball for Dusknoir plus Boss or something like that seems pretty high value. Is the Prime Catcher a good card in this deck? I mean, yes, but Prime Catcher would never be a bad card in like any deck. Prime Catcher is a good card in literally every single Pokemon TCG deck. Like you can't really name a single. The only deck that Prime Catcher would be bad in would be like ESP Golden Go. But every other deck, Prime Catcher is always a good card. And I think it makes sense. It's like item based. You definitely need some kind of item based gust with Briar. It's pretty important to actually like be able to consistently use Briar. So if you did cut the Prime Catcher for something like an Unfair Stamp, maybe, but then you'd have to play Counter Catcher for sure. But the Prime Catcher just lets you maintain aggression, which seems pretty good. I think it has probably pretty good synergy with Dawn as well, being able to aggressively, like Dawn is just like such a big part of like getting everything set up and going, not just turn 1, but consistently throughout the game, or not just turn 1 and turn 2, but consistently throughout the game. So turn 3 being able to go like Dawn Prime just seems like really, really powerful. Keeps things flowing, keeps things moving, and then allows you to still gust on the turn as well. Counter Catcher, I mean, if you cut the Prime Catcher, you definitely have to play a Counter Catcher, but the Prime Catcher might just be the way to go. And did defeat Alexander in the finals. I did say that I think this build of Charizard is unfavored against Dragapult. And if you watch the matches, it would have been nice. Both games, Alexander did not draw very well. And watching the whole tournament, Alexander just like, in general, his openings in all of his matches on stream were just like really bad. Not really bad, but it's just funny how poorly he drew like every single game, every single opening. He didn't draw poorly throughout the whole game, but all of his openings were so weak. But he still did manage to make it to the finals, where once again he had some poor draws. It would have been cool to see a match where Alexander drew a little bit better, so we could have seen a little bit more of the matchup, especially like where Alexander is putting more pressure on Nikolai, and then Nikolai having to utilize the deck to its full potential to really beat him. Whereas it was kind of just like Alexander drawing so slow, it didn't really matter what Nikolai did as long as he was drawing a prize card every single turn. So that was unfortunate to see the finals play out that way. But Paul Noor getting second place here. And the 60 here from Alexander, I'm pretty sure it's the exact same 60 he used to win Lil. So literally nothing changed for Alexander specifically. And this is a pretty standard Paltmore build as far as like inclusions go. Nothing crazy in there. Ufe got third place here with the Golden Go Soul Rock build. And is not including any hard tech for Cornerstone, actually. So not afraid of Cornerstone, which was maybe a good call. Because to be honest, like thinking about this format, meta a little bit more. Mega Absol seems... seems pretty weak. Definitely seems pretty weak. So if that's the only deck that's playing Cornerstone, I don't know. Seems like you maybe don't need to include the Cornerstone answer. There's an argument that the Mega Mawile is just kind of good though. I actually thought Absol was going to be pretty good at this tournament. Is the deck beats the 1/1 Lopunny? Yeah, but does it beat Mega Diancie? I think like that's like the big question mark for the deck is do you beat the Diancie? Because if you don't beat the Diancie, then the deck's probably just not that good right now, right? Diancie seems like it could be tough. Yeah, no tech for Cornerstone. And then pretty standard from there. Played the Lana's Aid as help against the Frillish. Played the Premium Power Pro as a tech for the mirror match. And then actually played the Monkey Dory. We don't really see the Monkey Dory that often in Golden Go anymore. I think we actually saw it in a list recently from, I want to say Caleb Rogerson at Vegas. Yeah, I don't think that matchup changes that much with Absol into Diancie, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I could see it for sure. I can see it going both ways, to be honest. I just have to like play games to actually see how it plays out. Nancy is easy to beat though with Absol box. Well, the thing is though, like if Absol, like I'm like imagining like a board states where it's like Absol draws the first prize card though, and then you can, as Guardy, you can go Diancie counter catch or KO something off the bench, and then the Absol player has to have boss that turn to get around the Diancie, or you punch into the Diancie, and that just gives you Monkey Dory damage. It also allows the Guardy player to play through a board state that doesn't have Gardevoir EX in play. If you just overload your Diancie, because you can overload your because you can overload your Diancie, so it has you can overload your Diancie, and then you can stay out of, you can not get one hit KO'd, and you stay out of terminal period range, right? That's the thing. You can leave 7 damage counters on your thing, and then you punch the Absol, and the Absol doesn't KO you, right? And then you KO them, and then but you're putting the pressure on them. That seems pretty annoying. And if they chase the Guardy, you just don't care. You just overloaded yourself. It definitely gives you new lines that you didn't have before, for sure. Absol was already a good matchup for Guardy. Shake my head. I think I feel like it came down to how your 1 KO potential. But like if it was like the pure jelly builds, I feel like you kind of struggle. I feel like there was a close matchup. But if you had anything, I mean, even like a single Bravery Charm with a Screamtail feels like it was sometimes, or it made it like 50-50 basically, which I guess everyone played. But then when you got to the Drifloon builds, you're definitely favored as Guardy. All right, where was I? Oh yeah, Monkey Dory. We don't see it that often. Included in this build. No Picnic Basket, of course. Playing double healing cards seems kind of like a waste for sure. Yeah. I don't even know like the point of, like, I don't actually know what's strongest, to be honest. Like, I don't think I'd play Monkey Dory and Picnic Basket ever in the current format. Like, you're definitely playing one over the other. But honestly, I have no clue which one is better. Maybe the Monkey Dory is just kind of cool because you'd catch some Guardy players off guard, right? Oh, I guess like specifically it's good against Jelly Guardy though, right? Like specifically the Monkey Dory is really, really good against Jelly Guardy. So that might be one of the reasons to play the Monkey Dory over the Picnic Basket as well right now. But then also catching Guardy players off guard who like leave too much damage on your side of the field when they're using Screamtail, and then getting a free prize card that way is kind of cool as well. So I can see the Monkey making a comeback for sure. Especially with like Monkey's worse into Pult and Grim. Does it really make that big of a difference for the Pult matchup, though? Grim for sure, I agree. I agree that for sure. Oh, it's also good in the mirror match, yeah. Grim is basically dead at this point, though, right? Like, Grim's kind of a dead deck, so... I feel like the Monkey Dory... Oh, no, that's true. Yeah, that's... Well, actually, is that true? No, you're probably right. It is worse into Pult and Grim for sure. But I feel like the Grim matchup, that's true. The Picnic Basket is better. But Grim's kind of a dead deck. And then for the Pult matchup, I don't even actually know if that's true, to be honest. I feel like the Monkey Dory might be better into Pult, to be honest. Or just as good, basically. You don't need that much healing against Pult to beat them. You need just, like, a little bit. And Monkey Dory usually gets you there, to be honest. 4th place here from Christian. Another Pult Nor with 1 Dawn. That's cool, I guess. Oyvind here, playing the Charizard still... and quite a bit different of a build, obviously, from the first place list, but not that different from previous builds we've seen Oyvind play at tournaments. I think Oyvind actually gave some of the credit for this list over to Hermione, I believe, on Twitter. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but some credit, if not all credit for the list, I think goes to Hermione on this one, who has also been playing and being pretty successful with Charizard, this style of build of Charizard recently. I do feel like this Charizard build and the build that one here from Nikolai are pretty similar in terms of like what they're trying to achieve and accomplish in the metagame, in the format. It's like a build of Charizard that just has a really weak Dragapult matchup, right? Especially when you compare it to the Gabriel Fernandez build from LAIC. Like Gabriel Fernandez played Monkey Dory, played Mist Energy, played Psyduck, right? So I feel like that deck is maybe even 50-50 against Pult. But with both of these builds of Charizard, you're basically like, okay, I'm giving up on the Pult matchup for the most part. Obviously, you can get a win here and there. You're like, I'm giving up on the Pult matchup, and that's fine. And then I'm trying to just be as strong as possible from there. And I think when you compare the two builds, honestly, I kind of like this build better if we're applying that mentality to the Charizard deck. If we're going, we're taking a terrible Pult matchup, we're okay with that. What is the best way to build Charizard, to play Charizard if we're doing that? I kind of like this build more. I think I like the Noctowl build more because they're kind of following the same logic as to what the build looks like. But I think the Noctowl deck just does it better, I think. So we're looking to build to play between Oyvind's builds or the build that Nikolai played. I think I'd go with Nikolai's. Bro, not gonna lie, giving up on Pult matchup in Germany is never the play. They love the deck. That does kind of feel like that is a trend over kind of in Europe in general, Thray. I kind of agree. It feels like the top American, Canadian players lean a little bit more towards Gardevoir, and it feels like over in Europe is a little bit more of a lean towards Dragapult, for sure. And one of those decks is really, really good, and one of those decks is kind of mid. So, I mean, Europe playing mid decks is nothing new in my experience in the Pokemon TCG. So, honestly, I'm kind of not surprised. All right, Daniel Magda here, continuing his dominance with the Golden Go. And is this the same 60 that he played to his win? It's pretty close overall. There's nothing... there's, like, nothing crazy here from Daniel, right? Nothing crazy? Is there anything different from his build? I think it might be the same 60. I'm actually not sure. -1, there's one change. All right, let me see if I can spot the change. Oh, is it the Gimme Ghoul? Is it literally just Call for Family Gimme Ghoul? The Call for Family is back in the build over the 4th minor errand running. Did tech for the Cornerstone, of course, with the Mega Mawile. Actually, 2. Oh, there's 2 changes? Oh, no petrol. Plus... No petrol plus... It has to be something in the Pokemon search count, right? It's like +1 Nest Ball or something, I think. Petrol for Gong. And... Okay, yeah. And Call for Family Gimme, okay. Yeah, and then did tech. And the Mega Mawile is better than just a Cornerstone tech. It's really good in the Pulp matchup, stuff like that. Can even be good in the Guardian matchup as well, depending on where the prize trade is at going to the late game. Usually not quite as good in that matchup, though. Drew Stephenson... Back at it with the Golden Go, finally getting his top cut for the season. He's one of the few players to ever bubble out of asymmetrical cut. And then I think also lost his winning in for a top 32 finish at Gdansk, I want to say. So gets his top cut here, playing the Golden Go once again. Did play them all while, like we saw from Daniel. Had the tech card in there for the Cornerstone, but then opted to actually tech a little bit more heavily for the Jelly matchup with the Lavencia. The Lavencia is also kind of cool against Pult as well. So I would say it's not just a tech for... I would say it's not just a tech for Jellicent, but it's also kind of good against Dragapult as well. So you can like Secret Box combo into Lavencia plus everything to get a 1-hit KO on a Dragapult at the end game. But it's like not necessary for that matchup, obviously. It really is just to help the Jelly Guardian matchup more than anything. And... yeah, did only play 1. Yeah, it's only 1 Lavencia, so obviously not as good as like the double Lavencia, but some help is better than none help when you're feeling pressured by the jellies. Paolo here with another Pult Noir. We're gonna skip Pult Noirs because I'll take 1 second to look. Nope, there's nothing new. All right, Silas here. Oh, I thought it was Joltik Box. Silas actually played Golden Go Joltik, and there's at least one interesting card in here. Has the Galvantula EX, but actually doesn't play Fighting Energy. So this is just in here for the Charged Web Attack, which does 110 plus 110 more if the active is a... if it is a an EX, right? Another reason that the Galvantula is kind of cool is you can evolve your Joltik to Galvantula to play around a Briar Line, right? Can't that come up? Because the Charizard player can go draw to Cornerstone Answer, I guess. We have Iron Hands as a Cornerstone Answer, so I don't think it matters that much. I guess it is good against Cornerstone, but I don't think that really... You have 2 Iron Hands, right? Shouldn't 2 Iron Hands be enough against Cornerstone? I feel like that should be more than enough to win the match. We take 2 turns with hands. I mean, the Galvantula should also take 2 turns because they should have a Bravery Charm on the Cornerstone, though. Cheap 1-shot on Pidgeot. I mean, Arm Press also does that. It does give you a way to, like, utilize the card. But it's not... It doesn't do something that you can't do already. Yeah, it doesn't do something that the deck can't already do. Ursaluna's Overkill IMO. The Ursaluna is definitely an interesting inclusion, for sure. I mean, it makes it easier to get that 1-hit KO at the end of the game. I mean, it's kind of like Mega Mawile in Golden Go deck, right? Like in this deck, having Mega Mawile in some matchups in the late game is cool as an attacker. Like specifically against Polt, you don't have to get the full combo with Golden Go and one hit KO them. You can just attach a metal to Mega Mawile preemptively, draw 4 prize cards, and then Mawile closes it out. Similarly with this deck, instead of needing everything for the Golden Go to one hit KO something, you just need Ursaluna plus Boss, right? Another thing with this deck in the late game is sometimes your bench is clogged up with stuff like the Joltix and Miraidon and stuff like that, so you have less Golden Goes in play, which means less draw power. So having the Ursaluna for the late game doesn't seem terrible, to be honest. I don't hate the Ursaluna in here. The Galvantula EX is cool. The first thing that came to mind for me for the Galvantula EX is like it helps you play around Briar against Charizard decks, because you can evolve your Joltik to Galvantula so they can't Dust Snore it to go from 4 to 3 to 0 with Briar. Because if it's Galvantula, Galvantula still gets KO'd by Dusknoir. Joltik gets KO'd by Dusclops. I don't know if that's a reason for it. I'd be curious to know what their reason for the inclusion is. Especially with not playing a fighting energy. Because if you play a fighting energy, then it's like, well, I mean, kind of doing 180 and item locking your opponent is just kind of cool, I guess. But it's something. Are you ever playing E-switching Goldie? Just have the Mawile in one turn? You could, but I don't think so. It's probably not worth it. All the matchups where it's good as a late game attacker, it's pretty easy to get it on the bench with a metal energy by the time you need it. So it'd be like kind of overkill. Maybe Galvantula clears Cornerstone. I mean, you already have Iron Hands though. Like like I said, the Cornerstone's gonna have Braver Charm, so like Galvantula's not one hitting it. So you're two hitting it with Iron Hands, or you're two hitting it with Galvantula, right? It's like the same thing. All right, and that was asymmetrical cut. This is where we are looking at the list from the players who did not make asymmetrical cut. That was also a cheap way to kill all basic EX support mons. Yeah, it is. It is. That is true. I guess it's kind of like, it can be like similar in the late game as like the Ursaluna, right? But that feels like overkill to play Ursaluna and Galvantula as like ways to KO Fez at the end of the game. But I guess your Joltik doesn't always survive. This is like, yeah, I mean, you can do that, right? If your Joltik survives, you get it to the bench, you attach to it twice, and you just need boss KO the Fez, which is kind of cool. But Ursaluna also does that. So that feels like a little overkill to be playing the Galvantula EX and the Ursaluna, so you have boss KO Fez more conveniently at the end of the game. It's about how little energy you have to attach to the Galvantula after already using it to power up its unevolved attack. Hey, Azul, the guy that played Joltik Box on stream, commented your video explained the misplay. Did you see it? Yeah, I did. I mean, we knew that was the mistake, yeah. Like, in the moment, we said he probably thought he didn't get KO'd. Like, that wasn't anything new. Is it nice to not have to commit to Pika energy discard in theory for anything in that 200 range? I mean, that's like the point of playing Golden Go in the deck, though. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's like, it's repetitive. Like, the Galvantula EX is really repetitive, because you want to get through Cornerstone, you have Iron Hands. They get through Iron Hands at the same rate. You want to KO Fezandipity or, I don't know, Terapagos, you have Golden Go. Yeah, all I'm saying is Galvantula is repetitive. Our deck already does everything the Galvantula does, especially once we had the Ursaluna, because the only argument would be like a late game Fez KO, but we have Ursaluna, so we have that as well in the deck already. The only thing that it's not repetitive around is playing around that Dusknoir play that I mentioned. It doesn't mean it's not good to play. Repetition's not a bad thing. Being able to do something, doing what other cards already do, doesn't make it bad. It just means you have more options to be able to do the same thing. But that's usually where cards like don't get included in decks, is when it's like, well, we already have a way to do this at a high enough rate. And it does seem like those things would be done at a high enough rate. But Kim here, playing the Jelly Guardy. The Thin Guardy line, the 2/1/2, the 2/2 Jelly. Honestly, this looks really similar to the list that Henry Shaw played at LAIC, but just has the Mega Diancie in there. And the Latias. They play double Bravery Charm. But that's what we're going to see probably from a lot of Guardy lists as we look through here. I'm going to look down all the way to the top, I don't know, 32 lists, and then I'll let you guys shout some lists out in chat. But I got cooked by Galvantula EX at LAIC in Django as it stopped the free prize I expected on Joltik. And it hit my Jelly for 220. Wait, but why do you want a free prize in that matchup anyways? Did they have 2 Joltiks in play? Rune came in, I think, one more ID, thinking they could get ASIM, but bubbled out. Wait, no way. Actually? Did they not do the math? There's no way. Is that why the asymmetrical cut was smaller? Because people ID'd? Yes? What? Bro, the math is not that hard. There's no way. I knew I wouldn't cut, but guaranteed top 16. What the heck? You're not going for the dub rune? Intent was 16. I mean, it's one thing if you're content with 16. It's another thing if you're trying to win the tournament and then matchup is really bad. Oh, wait, what did you play against? I said I know what you played against, so it might be fair. I think Root said something about matchup being bad. Oh, okay. That's fair. Yeah, I guess if you're content with 16 based on matchup, that is okay. But it is funny when people, well, it's different when people ID thinking they have a chance to make cut. 3 people, 33 or better. 4 people, 32. 11 people, 31. Kim thought he was guaranteed cut. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate for Kim. Dude, and Robin's got this super nice site here that you can just go check. labs.limitlessccg.com. You can just do the math real fast on the standings page. All right. Yeah, Kim's build. I mean, we'll probably scroll past a lot of the Guardy builds because it literally is just Guardy lists from last format plus Mega Diancie, so there's not too much to look at. Hermione here, playing a very similar list to Oyvind, if not maybe the same 60. It's probably pretty close, but we already talked about that. Rune here, Jelly, Guardy. Did play the Turbo Energize, so 2 standout cards here. Not just the Mega Diancie, but also the Turbo Energize. Turbo Energize does seem pretty good with Mega Diancie because it lets you, like, just play the game without Gardevoir in play, like, at all. Turbo Energize to the Diancie, or you Turbo Energize to the Monkey Doors with Diancie in the active, and you're attacking with Mega Diancie, plus you have the Monkey Doors to work with. This gives you, like, a lot of things to do. 2-1-2 Guardy line feels kind of mid. I mean, it depends if you're trying to beat Polt, I think. Is this just the Chow build? Basically, yeah. It's not. No, it's pretty close to the build from LAIC from Henry Chow, but Turbo Energize plus Mega Diancie. It's also pretty similar to what Kim played here. Kim's list is pretty similar to that list, but plus Mega Diancie. Now, I know the Guardy players think different, and I could see the Turbo Energize actually being enough, but I feel like this deck is unfavored against Polt. Like, I feel like you're not favored against Polt anymore when you start playing builds like this. Builds of Guardy like this. I think you're losing to Polt. I think you're unfavored against it. And being unfavored against Polt, as Guardy, I don't know, it feels kind of bad. The Turbo Energize specifically might be enough to put it over the top. Turbo Energize specifically might be enough because you can get enough energy in play. So that way you could attack with something with Clefairy in play to take knockouts. Polt is free. I'd have to see it to believe it, or like play the deck and then play up against the matchup to believe it. But I know Henry Chow thinks that, and I see your comment there, Rune. Polt is free, so I have to see it to believe it. Maybe the Turbo Energize is enough, but then looking at like Kim's list with like no Turbo Energize, I'm like, I just feel like this has to be unfavored against Polt. I just do not believe that this deck is favored against Polt. The Turbo Energize, I could see making it 50-50. Like 50-50, maybe slightly favored with Turbo Energize, but no Tiamivo, 1 Kirlia, like only two Ralts itself as well can be a factor. You to believe it. Even win its Guardy without Jelly against Golden Go? I mean, you'd hopefully be playing like Drifloon plus Bravery Charm and 1-hit KOing them aggressively. My Frillish says hello to Badoo. Yeah, but their deck is like so much better under item lock than your deck is. The Polt deck is built to win under item lock. There's like a pretty high win rate though. I would assume like as Guardy you go second, you turn 1 Frillish them, and then you just kind of scale up better than them. I can see that for sure. Obviously the Polt player can do that as well, but then when you both like are playing the game, their deck is just better under item lock. Timau here with the Golden Go at 13th place. Did play the Cramorant, so was Tech for Mirror. Had Lonazade in there for the Jellicent. This is honestly one thing I was a little bit surprised by, to be honest, is the kind of lack of text for the Mirror match in the Golden Go lists. I thought we'd start to see like everyone teching for the Mirror more. I don't actually know how high value the techs are, though. I will say that as well. So like this build here from Ufe did have the Monkey Dory, which is something for Mirror match. Also had the Premium Power Pro, so decent text for Mirror. Also had second recovery card, so you can just make more Soul Rocks more consistently. But then like Daniel Magda, no tech. But we've seen this from Daniel before as well. Like Daniel just doesn't play the text for the Golden Go mirror. Same thing here with Drew. No tech for the mirror match. So I'm a little bit surprised to see that overall. We see the Timao though playing the Cramorant. Like I said though, I would have to like sit down and actually like play the mirror a lot to see if how much the cards actually matter. The Premium Power Pros, the Cramorant, stuff like that. Owen here did play the Lopunny. I don't know how close Owen got. Cramorant's like the fakest mirror tech ever. Is it? See, that's what I'm saying. I'd have to actually like, play it to figure out if it actually does anything. Honestly, Golden Gold Mirror boils down to who can get 2 prizes first and keep up a prize trade regardless of tech in my experience. Yeah, see, I could see that being true. It's like you just don't have enough access to your deck by not putting the Golden Goes in play to be able to find the tech cards to make the tech cards matter. It's like, in theory, they seem good, but then when you actually play games, you realize, oh, it doesn't actually matter. It doesn't actually matter often enough to actually warrant playing it. Like, it probably gives you a slight edge in the mirror, but not to the point where it actually makes sense to use the card. I want a cup where I use Cram 0 times. Be like 3 mirrors. Yeah, I could see it for sure. Fakest of fake cards. Owen here did play the Lopunny. Oh, I guess that was it Prime Catcher? Actually, I didn't even like take note of that. Wait, I know a Secret Box from Drew and Secret Box from Daniel. It was Prime Catcher here from Ufe. Okay. And then Timao here did tech with the Cram. Was that? No, it's on Owen's here, right? Yeah. Owen tech for the mirror, had the Cram, didn't play the Premium Power Pro. Super Rod for the recovery card, and then did play the 1/1 Lopunny as the tech card for Cornerstone / Do It All potential closer card as well. That is one thing about the Lopunny that is nice. It can also just like close out games. I mean, you can do the same thing with Mawile though in situations. So Monkey Dory destroyed me. You cannot punch it, so I didn't. Not punch what? The Monkey Dory or the Soul Rocks? Also play the TM Evo as well. So allows Owen to play through or evolve up to Golden Goes without having to put Genesect in play. And I think I saw him on Twitter talking about the interactions where it's good, which is like, you know, up against like Water Pawn. And also up against the item locking of stuff. It is also like another out against the item locking of stuff like item locking of stuff like the Jellicent and the Badoo, so up against Guardy and Pult. I'm not sure it's worth the inclusion. Like, whenever I've seen a Golden Go, whenever I played Golden Go up against the Soul Walkers in the Mirror, move 30 Vit Ban. Yeah. But you still 2-hit them with your own Vit Ban. So if you're ahead, you could still punch it, give them the 1-hit back, and then you KO it on the next turn with your own Vitality Band, right? I believe we did the math the other day on the stream when we saw that the Monkey Dory was in the deck. 70 minus 30. Yeah, you can still get the KO back on it. 70 minus 30. Oh no, you don't even need your own Vitality Band. You just do 70, they heal 30. They get an effective 1-hit, but if you're ahead, you can just stay ahead that way. It's also your way to find the Lopunny. That is true. It is also your way to... I mean, yeah, okay. All right, the one thing I don't like about the list, the lack of Ultra Ball in here, I think is just bad. Like, I feel like you should still play an Ultra Ball. If you're going to play the Lopunny, I feel like you should play an Ultra Ball. Just like cut a Nest Ball for an Ultra Ball. It's not that big of a sacrifice. But that is true. It is also your way to help find the Lopunny. I still don't like the lack of Ultra Ball, though. I was going to say one more thing about the Lopunny, but then I forgot what I was going to say. Man, I did have something I was going to say. I completely forgot what it is. The TM is really... Oh, yeah, the TM Evo. I don't know. Whenever I play against Guardy or Pult, I feel like it doesn't... Like that rarely ever comes up where that is like a factor. Where it's like the item lock is preventing me from playing the game. I feel like that almost never happens where the item lock is preventing me from playing the game. So I'm not sure how much I like the TM Evo, to be honest. It seems like fine. But nothing like crazy. It's like okay. Miloslav here. Same 60 as Daniel. Top 16 finish. Shoichi here played the Guardy Jelly. Honestly, I was actually kind of surprised. I was actually curious if he... No, I knew he played it. But actually, one thing I was going to comment on is usually the Japanese players do not play Pheasantipity in their Guardy decks. We do see the Pheasantipity here from Shoichi here, though, in the deck. And pretty pretty standard Guardy. The 2-1-2 Guardy line feels like that's caught on quite a bit here. Is this guy a well-known player, by the way? Shoichi? I believe so, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a fairly well-known player. I mean, I've seen his name quite a bit now recently. Why Dragon Ball kind of lose into every deck? Next mid. We reach insane level of liabilities. What, in the Guardy deck in general? I played him in a skillful Who Drew Jelly First match. Always some of the top gameplays. Did play the TM Devo. Actually, that's a card worth mentioning that was like excluded from a lot of these jelly builds. Rune here, no TM Evo, and I think all the other lists up here as well, right? Kim, no TM Evo, well, no TM Devo, excuse me, not Evo. No TM Devo. Oh, that's the highest placing Guardies we've seen so far. Yeah, no TM Devo in those lists. We see the TM Devo still being played here from Shoichi. And honestly, I can kind of understand not playing the TM Devo. It feels like the way your matchup against Golden Go plays out, TM Devo, like it's nice as a threat against Golden Go, but it's usually not your main win condition. I think TM Devo's strongest matchup is probably Charizard, at least historically, but now that you have the Mega Diancie, you maybe just don't need it to beat Charizard anymore. I just don't know how that matchup actually plays, to be honest with it. So the TM Devo might just not be worth it anymore overall. Because the Golden Go matchup, it's a kind of a nice threat to have. Like, if you're going to play against a lot of Golden Goes, you'd probably rather have it than not. But, and then Charizard, things have definitely changed against Charizard for sure now. Now they have Diancie. You have other potentially better early game routes that you can take. So you don't maybe need it in that matchup either. So, I guess like one of the matchups where it could still be strong would be Mirror Match, though. That could be a thing still, to be honest. But it always felt strongest in like Jelly Guardy versus non-Jelly Guardy, but Jelly Guardy versus Jelly Guardy maybe doesn't matter as like a factor anymore. So it's just kind of who finds their Jelly first anyways, which is super cool and super fun for the Jelly Guardy players. 17th here, Omer did play the Lucario in the Golden Go, is playing the Trolley build. This build, honestly, the Trolley build kind of feels like the weakest build of Golden Go to me, especially with like the Mega Lucario in general. I feel like it feels like Mega Lucario is outclassed by Lopunny right now in the metagame. And there's an argument that the Mawile is just better to begin with instead of either of those. So overall, I'm not a huge fan of the idea of the Mega Lucario. And the Trolley build in general just kind of feels like the weakest build of the deck. The space you gain from playing Trolley over just more Pokemon search cards doesn't seem like you gain enough of a benefit. Like we see in this build from Omer, you have, 0 Nest Ball, just the 1 Ultra Ball, 1 Buddy Poffin, 3 Fighting Gong still. But then you're committing to playing the Mega Lucario line instead of a Mawile or no tech, so that's like 2 spaces taken. Is playing the Tool Scrapper, which is kind of cool to have Tool Scrapper, but like Bravery Charm Guardy isn't that popular right now, so how good is Tool Scrapper in Golden Go right now? Probably not that good. You're losing to Jellies, you're not losing to Drifloons with Bravery Charms or Screamtails with Bravery Charms anymore. The Iron Bundle combo on turn 1, of course, is really cool with the Trolley, and that's like the real value I think you gain from playing the Trolley build is the aggressive Soul Rock attack on that first turn of the game, but yeah, I don't know, it just feels not worth the investment for that really potentially powerful turn 1 versus being able to play a more high impact A-Spec throughout the game like the Prime Catcher, like the Secret Box. It doesn't seem worth the trade-off for the space you gain. Fabian back at it with the Dragapult. Blaziken, I was wondering, would Fabian go down to 1 Buddy Poffin for this tournament? He's been slowly counting down his Buddy Poffins. Played 2 at LAIC. Continued with the 2 Buddy Poffins here with the Dragapult chicken deck. And from his last build from LAIC, he played more Dark Energy this time around, so wants to be able to enable that Petron EX and the Monkey Dories, I guess, more often. What other changes did he make? I think it's the only changes he made. I think playing more Arven. I think he had like a 3-3 split of like Lilies and Arven maybe, so made that adjustment as well. Strapper's good versus Mirror and Tord Box. Not really, to be honest. Wait. No, not really, to be honest. It doesn't really matter that much against Mirror. And it doesn't really matter that much against Tord Box either. Like, if you set up Cornerstone, you want to KO with Lucario. If you don't set up Cornerstone, you want to KO with Golden Go. Like, it doesn't make a big difference. You don't need it for the matchup. Same thing with the Mirror Match. Getting rid of Air Balloons is, like, not a factor at all. I don't think, right? No, not really. I've been playing more and more Blaziken each tournament. Yeah, more and more Blaziken, less and less. Oh, he did play the second Combuskin this tournament as well. Yeah, has the second Combuskin in here. Less Buddy Poffins, more Blazikens every single tournament. Come NAIC, Fabian's list is literally just going to be a full Blaziken deck, no Dragapult, and 0 Buddy Poffin. But this deck is super sick, and definitely recommend it for anyone who's looking for a cool, different deck to try. I don't think it's the best way to play Dragapult, but Blaziken, it's definitely the best way to play Blaziken, probably. So if you're really trying to play Blaziken, that's the one. Consta here, play Jelly Guardy. Like I said, we're probably just going to see a lot of Mega Diancys. The most successful Guardy builds we've seen so far, if they didn't play the TM Evo, they were very much having a potential shakier time against Pult. But this build here from Consta, not the same story. We have the 3-2-2 Guardy line. We have the TM Evo. Is also still playing the TM Devo, which, like I said, I think playing TM Devo is pretty questionable right now. It doesn't seem that powerful. But wanted a better time against the Pult here for sure. Thicker Guardy line plus the TM Evo. Of course, Mega Diancy is like the new addition to the deck. It feels weird also to like play a couple lists here. Was Kim's list the same, or was it Shoichi's? No, it wasn't Shoichi's. It was the other list here. Maybe it was Kim's list actually. Yeah, Kim, like the double Bravery Charm, but not playing Drifloon. I feel like if you're gonna play 2 Bravery Charms, it feels like the potential of the Drifloon just seems so high value. I don't know. Maybe the Screamtail always gets there with a Bravery Charm, so it doesn't really matter. But I guess that's not always true, right? Like it gets there a lot of the time, but not all the time. I don't know. It just feels like having that the big 1 KO potential. If you're gonna play 2 Bravery Charms, if you're just gonna play 1, it's like okay, I can see not playing the Drifloon. Felix here with a straight Pult list. Oh, is this the Jelly Guardy you guys were talking about earlier in chat? Is playing a 1-1 Jellicent and a 1-1 Toad Scroll. I honestly don't know what to think. I don't really have an opinion, too strong an opinion. Double Monkey Dory here. Monkey Dory's good. I mean, it's a cool list. I don't know where the Jelly is strongest. I mean, obviously, it's going to be good against Golden Go as an option. Even though you have the Toad Scroll in the deck, the Jellicent would still be a good option. This guy's not losing to Dango. Not losing to Dango here. I don't know. Jellicent could be good in other matchups as well. It doesn't seem incredibly strong, but it's all right. Good against Mirror 2 when you think about it. The Jellicent, I guess it could be, right? You can be more aggressive. They don't get access to Counter Catcher, so they have to find Boss to get around it if they want to get around it. I don't know, but then you're not attaching to Dragapults or Monkey Dories for turn, so it seems like you'll get out traded eventually, though, right? I'm gonna look up this guy's match history. If he lost to Dango, I'm gonna be pissed. All right, we do have a Raging Bolt up here, despite its low play percentage. I think its conversion rate was actually like fine, right? Pokemon Catcher. Oh, this is like Ghost. This is like Turbo Bolt here. Choose second, hit a Pokemon Catcher heads, start swinging, 4 Crispin, 4 Sada. Yeah, choose and then also the Unfair Stamp. Okay. Unfair Stamp with a not Noctowl build though. I mean, I guess we have the Pokemon Catchers and Boss. Like, sure, may as well make our. Honestly, it feels like there's like no good A spec in this deck. Like, they all just kind of are okay. It's like if we're playing Pokemon Catcher, Prime Catcher's okay. We sell Boss's Orders as well. I mean, what other A spec would you even consider? Like, yeah, sure, the Unfair Stamp seems fine, I guess. Because I can't even think of like. I mean, Prime Catcher wouldn't also be bad though. Put a Prime Catcher back in here maybe, but. Dangle with another Jelly Guardy here. No Mega Diancie. Okay, well, that can't be correct. Something's missing here. Did play with the thicker Guardy line. Also 2 Arven. So 2 Arven, 3-2-2 plus an Evo. Still played the Devo as well. And chose the Air Balloon over the Latias as the way to aggressively get into that Frillish on the first turn of the game. Obviously makes a little bit more sense with the higher Arven count, but seems like most people have kind of made their way over to the Latias. More Guardy Jelly here from Fabio. Mega Diancie in there. Is not playing Latias or Air Balloon, so no aggressive way to actually get into the Frillish. It just seems too good, to be honest. Aggressively getting into the Frillish just seems kind of too good. I don't really have that strong of an opinion on Latias versus Air Balloon. It seems like a lot of players have made their statement with the list they've chosen that Latias is the better way to go. Obviously, it's hard to argue against some of the players who are playing Latias over Air Balloon, but not playing any out for the turn 1 Frillish seems like a mistake. The win rate you just get from turn 1 attacking with Frillish in any matchup, it seems worth the inclusion. Still kept the TM Devo. Was playing the Mega Diancie. Yeah, thicker Guardy line, like I mentioned. Adam here, Pult Nor. Nothing to see. highest placing Terra Box deck. I don't really count the Charizard deck as like a Terra Box deck, but it feels like Flareon's basically Terra Box at this point, or a build of Terra Box. And it's playing the Tool Scrapper. Only one Crispin? Wait, how are you playing Water Pond with one Crispin? What? All right, I don't know about that one Crispin though. What do you cover Latias in that list? This list, probably the Team Devo. You just don't need it for real? I can't tell if you're being serious. Isn't like Water Pond chaining in the early game like a really good play? Or like the potential for Water Pond? Only one Crispin? That card is so good. I mean, if you're attacking with Flareon first in any matchup, it's like not as big of a deal. But I feel like if you losing the access to aggressive water Pond, I feel like is such a big part of this deck's win percentage. Like such a big part of this deck's win percentage is like aggressive Water Pond plays. So like having one Crispin, well, one you could prize it obviously, but like if we ignore that percentage, then just like not being able to go back-to-back pawn attacks, or having a Crispin early and then not having the Crispin for the Water Pond later. Yeah, I don't know. That's a big standout to me. Chose the Tool Scrapper inclusion. Besides that, besides that, pretty standard as far as Flareon Terra Box builds have become. After like Emma has kind of set the trend for the way to play the deck. Looks like a Highlander deck. It's pretty close. All right, Costa's here. Poltnor, we skipped those. Noah here, highest placing, top 32 here, top 32 finish here for the Tank Kangaskhan deck. Let's see. And we got the Jumbo Ice Cream inclusion, but yeah, nothing crazy in the build, I don't think, right? Kangaskhan's, Bouffalance, couple Monkey Dory. Had the Cornerstones in there as well. Playing Psyduck for Jumbo Ice Cream. You gotta have the Jumbo Ice Cream. And it is the trolley style build, which does seem like just like the best way to play the deck, to be honest. It's cool to see a finish from the Kangaskhan. I was hoping, you know what, honestly, one of the things that I was hoping to see from this tournament was something abusing Jumbo Ice Cream. In like a way that was like cool or new or interesting. Unfortunately, we didn't see any of that. I mean, this is a Jumbo Ice Cream deck, but it's like everyone knows about this deck, right? Everyone knows about the synergy. It's not anything new, anything fresh. So I was hoping to see someone come up with something kind of crazy with Jumbo Ice Cream, but no such luck. All right, Simon here. Not Stefan, actually. The highest placing. Stefan started off like, what, 7-1 going into phase 2 with Lopunny Dusknoir, but not at the end of the tournament, not the highest placing Lopunny Dusknoir. It's Simon here. Played the Badoo, just a 2-2 Lopunny. Did play a 1-1 Pidgeot and the Fan Rotom. Fan Rotom was not usually often an inclusion in the deck because losing bench space to a Fan Rotom kind of sucks. Especially if you have the Pidgeot in the build as well. Although Fan Rotom does help set up your Pidgeot. Obviously, you can get the Baneri, gets the Ditto, all that kind of stuff. But then losing bench spaces for like Duskulls and the draw power of Kangaskhan and stuff does hurt a little bit. But I don't hate it. Is on the heavy Lily count here for Lily. Just a couple Hilda. Then, of course, has some Ionos for the late game as well. Has the Jamming Tower in there as well as the Stadium. A little bit of disruption. It's good to get rid of the Bravery Charms of the Absol deck. Although I don't know how relevant that is anymore, to be honest. The Jamming Tower might just not be necessary in this deck anymore. It's like another matchup where it matters, to be honest. It's good against the Absol deck, right? To reduce their HP. Tatsu seems so good in this deck, no? Not really. The raw draw power of the Kangaskhan usually just outvalues Tatsu. Drawing to stuff like Rare Candy and things like that is like higher value overall. So the Tatsugiri would like almost never get used. Replaces Battle Cage. That's true, but no one's playing Battle Cage yet. So I don't know if we have to be scared of Battle Cage. Maybe there is a Battle Cage deck out there, like a quad Battle Cage deck that also plays 4 Ice Creams. I don't know what it is, but it might exist. I'm gonna go find it. Another Charizard here, and it is Pult, or excuse me, Charizard with Dusknoir. It's pretty similar to what Hermione and Oyvind play, but no Secret Box. Down store build, then also played the Psyduck as well, but no Mist. So it's got the Psyduck in there, which I guess, honestly, the Psyduck is more than just a tech for Dragapult. It is also a tech for Mirror Match, I guess, as well. Now, all Charizard players play if you're playing Dusknoir and Charizard, you're playing the Klefki combo. But forcing your opponent into the Klefki combo can be kind of nice as well, right? So we have that. Have you seen the Slacking deck yet? No, but we'll get there. Leon here with Pult Noir did play the Moltres in the deck as well. Also included a Watchtower. So those are like two interesting inclusions. So I guess, you know what? Pult's maybe trying some things out. The Pult players are switching it up a little bit. There can be some interesting inclusions. Obviously, the Moltres is pretty good against Golden Go. Watchtower, I don't know, I guess it's good against the Terra decks a little bit there. Tennyson, play Jelly Guardy. Went for the thicker Guardy line as well. The 3/2/2 with the 1 TM Evo. I thought I didn't see the Mega Diancie in there at first. I was like, wait, what the heck? No, is playing the Mega Diancie, of course. Gotta have it. Did not actually play a mobility card, though. Did not play Latias or Air Balloon. So it's not trying to get into that Frillish turn 1. Not about it. And then here we go. Another Terrazard deck. This one is playing the Water Pond. This is the build that we've seen more often, more recently. It's also playing the 4 Dawn, actually, as well. There's also another pretty cool build here from Victor. Yeah, this is the style of Terrazard that we've seen be, I mean, as successful as that can be before this format, but Watchtower's good versus Kanga and Boof. Yeah, but it's not like a factor to like play a card. It's not a reason to play a card. You just swing with Moltres and clean up with Pult. I mean, it just depends on the situation. You can one-hit KO Genesect at some point with it. Things like that. Oh, Azul, how would you improve Gabriel Fernandez's list with the new cards available? No clue. Haven't played with the deck. Haven't thought about trying to improve the deck. No clue where I'd go from where the 60 was. What about Tank Kanga with 4 Cage? Hey, I'm down. We just gotta put 4 Cage in something. Okay. All right, from here, chat, there's one deck I'm going to take a look at here. 37th place here. Bernardo. We've seen Bernardo have success with slacking in the past. Coming out with his updated build of the deck. Still playing through the Grand Tree. He's got the Dusknoir in there still. Yep. Getting some success here once again with Pidgeot slacking. And the Sacred Ash. Okay. Yeah, very much heavily playing through the Grand Tree as well. 4 Colch's Tenacity plus the Grand Tree. I mean, obviously, Colch's Tenacity for Artisan turn 1 to get the Fan Ornament is also pretty good. Only 3 Ignition Energy is interesting. Still playing Boomerang Energy, actually. Which maybe that's kind of just like a tech for like 1 prize situations, I guess. But yeah, playing the Boomerang Energy still. So you can go Jet plus Boomerang on slacking and kind of have an infinite attacker there, instead of having to rely on Ignition turn after turn after turn. So that's interesting to see in here for sure. Seems stage 2 decks boil down to Dusknoir plus Pidgeot in whatever stage 2. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes that does happen. Check out Mateus's deck. He made a funny mistake and didn't get caught. Yeah, I did hear about that. What did he get? I don't. What was Mateus's placement? If anyone in chat knows of any interesting decks, I will check out 2,143rd place, please, Azul. No. 97th. And we gotta scroll quite a ways here. Ooh. Golden Go, Typhlosion. 92nd. Okay, 92nd, but y'all also want me to check 97th? 92nd, Mateus. Wait. There is a secret box here on Limitless. I thought he actually input a Prime Catcher. Did Robin change it in the... Did Robin change it on the page? Maybe Robin changed it over. Yeah, apparently the list that Mateus submitted had a Prime Catcher on it, but he played with Secret Box. So, unfortunate mistake there from Mateus. I mean, there's no, like, potential repercussions coming after that, I don't think. Pretty honest mistake. You're obviously never playing... It's Prime on My Limitless. Oh, maybe it'd be if I do this. Hang on. It might be Prime Catcher over here. There it is. There's the Prime Catcher. Love to see it. Yeah, Prime Guardia obviously not very good. Don't play Prime Catcher in your Gardevoir decks. Play Secret Box. 332nd? Bro, y'all want me going deep. Ooh, the Typhlosion from Bali. No engine build. Just relying on the Tatsugiri and the Fez to carry the deck. $330. All right, I'm gonna go down to 332nd. Dude, that's deep. I don't know. I mean, it's Poison Donk, and then you have the backup of an Espathra and a... It's a Poison Donk deck with a little bit more depth to it. Poison package. You got the Lopunny as a backup attacker, as a heavy hitter early on, besides just the Ursaluna. And then you have an Espathra, which... I don't know where the Espathra swings. Tord list. 173. All right, let's see what happened at 173. 173. The Mega Sharpedo. Okay. Bro, Purloin, no Liepard, though? Gotta get the Liepard in there. Is this the highest placing Sharpedo in the tournament? It's not terrible, right? 173rd. That'd be all right. This was the 8% unclassified in day one. True, true. $190 is where it's at. Okay. ESP Alakazam Golden Go with Zero-6. Gotta have the Zero-6. Enhanced Hammer. I mean, sure, you get to give you the one prize option. It's your out for Cornerstone. Why not? 367. 367. All right, what do you guys got for me here? Ooh, all right. The Mega Kangaskhan Fortress deck. Big fan of this deck. This deck's pretty sick. A 1/2 Fortress EX. Jumbo Ice Creams, of course. Gotta have those in there. And then the Heracross. Okay, what? Is that good? Why the Heracross? Why is there a Heracross in here? Why is there a Heracross in here? What is the point of the Heracross? I don't know why there's a Heracross. Is there a certain matchup? Cornerstone? Oh, it's the Cornerstone tech. For sure, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I was like, I don't know about this. This feels... TM Crisis Punch? Yo, the Crisis Punch is kind of sick, actually, because you can go Ace of Rolls Mischief plus Crisis Punch, and the next turn Crisis Punch again. Yo, the Crisis Punch actually is kind of cool. Guaranteed 280. Don't have to flip. Don't have to hit heads to make it work. All right. Oh, the 6/7 is a joke. Okay. 204. All right, we can go to 204. What placement did Tord get? We should definitely take a look at Tord's list. Go for... This is just Golden Go Joltik. What the heck? I've been scammed. We got 300th. All right, let's take a look at 300th and we'll call it there. All right, so Tord did play a pretty interesting deck. Not like extremely successful tournament run for Tord, obviously, but a pretty cool list nonetheless. It is just a Charizard Pidgeot deck, of course, but there's a 2/2 Lopunny in here, so we have a lot more aggressive options in the early game for an attacker. Pretty heavy Dawn count is there as well. There 3 Dawn. Unfair Stamp as the ace spec of choice. Did play the Mega Charizard X EX as well as a a way to just kind of attack really big. 6 Fire Energy, 4 Jet Energy. I just kind of need that for the Lopunny for sure. The Jet Energy are just kind of like they're just so low value in the deck. Like, they're good obviously for the Lopunny, kind of aim for the Lopunny. You can use them with Tatsugiri as well, but if you're going like the Charizard route, like the Jet Energy are just like dead cards, I guess. Well, except for like using Tatsu, I guess, on a turn. Yeah, 3/2/3 Pidgeot line. So definitely trying to aggressively set up 2 Pidgeot on board, I feel like, for sure. The 3-2-3 Pidgeot. Only 3 rare candy, though. But in a lot of matchups, sometimes your opponent's only win condition is KO your Pidgeot plus Iono the next turn or something like that. But if you set up 2 Pidgeot, they just literally can't do that and they just lose. Jet's also nice versus Monkey. Jet lets you pivot for Oricoreo's ability. Ooh, that is true. Gives you the Oricoreo pivot. It does also, yeah, get you around Monkey Dory. I don't know, 4 is just like a lot. I mean, obviously it feels like you have to play 4 in the deck. It just feels bad to play that high of a count of a card that is like so mid. Yeah, interesting build from Tor. We'll probably give it a try here on the stream today, to be honest. Maybe it's going to be a lot of Charizard gameplay on the stream today. We'll see. All right, but that's it. That's my recap. That's the recap of the Stuttgart Regional Championships.